We have a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello for the first time ever on the Power Trip Morning Show, Mr. Harrison Phillips. How are you, man?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's great, and we are honored because I get an opportunity to make an announcement right now as we start, because it is officially 8:32, and I was told to shut my mouth till 8:30 at least, and I did finally for once in my life. The NFL and the Minnesota Vikings announced today that defensive lineman Harrison Phillips has been named the team's nominee for the 2023 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. Huge congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I don't know if there's ever been a time that I was more celebrated than a little event that happened last night that the Vikings put on with my foundation, Harrison's Playmakers, and it was really, really special. And so I've been able to digest this for a little bit here, but I'm still on cloud nine.
It's wonderful because not only have you been nominated by the Vikings, you are the nominee for the Vikings. You have an opportunity to be the Walter Payton Player of the Year. That's enormous, and I know that's not till Super Bowl weekend, but is that something you look forward to being a part of as well?
Yeah, when I first got into the NFL, I started, my foundation and wanted to get involved in as many charities and organizations as I could. And I like to say that my heart's unbiased. Really, there's a lot of love to give to a lot of different places. And so, had a lot of success in Buffalo, was fortunate to be named their Man of the Year a couple times. And when I got to the Twin Cities, I realized things here is a little bit different. It's a little more special because you have the bigger city feel, but you have like the salt of the earth Midwest people here. And so I was blown away that my team nominated me for this nomination, and you never really set out to say, hey, I want to win the Man of the Year. It's not really a goal. It seems pretty self-serving. But like I explained to my foundation last night, it was really cool. The Vikings put together here in the Twin Cities. We had 200-300 people at the Whirly Ball, part of my foundation. I was on Zoom with, I was unknowingly doing a shopping event at Scheels in Omaha. We had 100 families going shopping at the Scheels in Omaha, and then we planned a Buffalo event the same night, and I was on Zoom, and everybody was congratulating me, and I was able to hold the trophy, and I explained to them, I know that my name's on it, but really it should be each one of their names that are on it, because the recognition that comes with it is nothing that I've done. It's more their award. So I think the NFL does an incredible job of, My Cause, My Cleats and the Man of the Year and things like that to allow us to show our platforms and show the amazing faces and individuals I get to work with, and it's incredible.
One more thing about this, if you don't mind, because I know it's a huge honor and something you're very honored by, but for the people unfamiliar with it, tell us about Harrison's Playmakers. What exactly do you do, and what does your organization do?
Yeah, so we work with individuals with developmental differences and special needs, pretty much all ages. I think we have some 4-year-old playmakers and some playmakers in their 50s. And we kind of started with creating opportunities that these individuals wouldn't have without us, encouraging and teaching some of the values that sports bring about never giving up and always teamwork and sportsmanship and things like that. But I think one of our niches that's really cool is I try to flip the negative perception out there, with people who maybe haven't worked with individuals with differences before, that they can't do things and that they're very dependent. And that's not the case. Some of these individuals are absolutely incredible. And that's why I never use the word disabled or disabilities. I say that we have different abilities. And so what I do to kind of flip that perception is not only can these individuals come to my camps and hang out with NFL players and college athletes and participate in drills that you never thought that they would have, we also have a give it back or a pay it forward. And so at my shopping event that I'll be having here at Scheels coming up soon, the kids will be gifted, $100 to go get whatever they want, but they'll also be given a wish list of another nonprofit that we're working with and say, hey, you can spend all the money on yourself, or you can go buy, socks and T-shirts, or if we're working with one of our veteran programs, or we work with a lot of the animal rescues here locally. And so just like my camp, we'll have 200 kids and their families come out, and it's a free camp, awesome day, but the price of admission will be a donation to another local nonprofit that I found here in the Twin Cities. And so it flips that perception that these kids can't do things, and it's like, no, these guys not only are kicking ass at my camp, but they also are able to give back in their communities and serve, and I think that shows their independence incredibly.
That's awesome.
I have a 42-year-old sister who has Down syndrome. I don't have a question. I just want to say what you do is unbelievable. That's it.
Thank you.
That's incredible, man.
Thanks.
That community is wonderful. All those people are wonderful. It means the world to me and my family, and it's not about that, but that's incredible what you do. That's wonderful. That's all. Wow.
Harrison, when you first got here, I think that you made the outreach for, listen, I want to get involved in this community. You didn't really know much about it, but Where does that, and you did it in Buffalo, where does that kind of spirit of giving, where did it originate, and why is it so important to you? Because, a lot of players get involved in their own various charities, but you are really kind of dug in on it personally.
Yeah, I think it would have to stem back to my faith. Raised in the church and had a fantastic community that was around me that showed me the right way and to give the shirt off your own back to someone in need. And so I prayed my entire life to be in the position that I'm in. I mean, from my very first, I have the same prayer I almost say every single night that involved me getting to where I'm at right now. And while I'm here, you're kind of only a hot commodity while you're still wearing that jersey. And so I want to make the biggest impact I can and make a legacy much further than how many tackles I have this week or how many wins or losses that we have. And so I've been fortunate that, Stanford allowed me to really grow into some of those roles. I helped create a couple nonprofits while I was out there. Buffalo was a great place for me to grow, and I was very thankful for my 4 years there. And then you get here and just kind of blown away. And I would say the icing on the cake was the staff that the Minnesota Vikings have in play in our community relations department. I'm sure Logan's probably annoyed with how much I've come and bothered him these last couple years, but there's no words to describe how awesome they are. The Vikings did right hiring them.
You mentioned tackles and wins and losses, so that brings me to my next question. How many tackles are you going to have this week, and are you going to win or lose?
Well, we'll find out if they're going to try to run this ball or not, man. I feel like teams haven't been running it as much as it's not been as action-packed as I would have hoped for myself inside. But that's a tip of our hat to Coach Flores and his defense, taking some of the things off the play call for some of these offenses. But no, man, it's a tough opponent. It's been nice to have a little bit of extra time to break them down, and I think that you can see the change in their offense from their head coaching change, and they're definitely caught some momentum and going to be a tough team to beat. So we're definitely buttoned up and have all of our focus on getting a win this Sunday.
How many defensive signals are you being relayed to from Brian Flores? We see him with the chart on the sidelines, and Ivan Pace right now is taking over with the green dot, giving the signals, and you only have a few seconds to do it, but it certainly seems like it's working, but I mean, it's pretty complex, is it not? And you guys have taken a while to kind of adjust to all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as complex as it is simple, if that makes sense. I mean, there's definitely a rhyme or reason for everything that we do, and I think what really makes us go is the ability, because you're starting to see some teams in the NFL sprinkle in what we're doing, right? It's a copycat league. But I think what it kind of takes the person who's steering the ship to have enough guts to really call it as much as we are. It's easy to call certain plays in certain situations, but to stick with your guns, I think that makes our defense really go is his ability to trust himself and trust the aggressiveness that we play with. And then we have a lot of guys that, the Jordan Hicks going down was a huge loss. I've been incredibly impressed with how Ivan's been able to do, but there's also been some guys on the back end and like myself who are trying to pick up the things that we can to take stuff off his plate, especially those first couple games. I was like, hey, I'll get the front. You worry about the stuff on the back end, and same way the guys in the back end are saying, hey, we'll help with these coverages and communication. But he's been nothing but fantastic and kind of exceeded my expectations.
Harrison, an NFL season seems to be almost always like a mini movie. You can name a team, and the amount of drama that team goes through is always significant. And so let's say even for the Vikings to have an 0-4 start and then a surge and then lose your quarterback. How do you as players know that the drama is coming? You don't know in what form. Sometimes it's even overachieving. But to stay even keel and to just sort of navigate through what always seems like it is such a dramatic event of an NFL season.
Yeah, funny story. When I got drafted or combined before the draft, as a defensive line, you have like a alumni come in and they're the head of your group, and mine was John Randall. And I remember when he was taking us from like station to station, and you kind of do some chit chat, and I was like, dude, I have a chance to talk to one of the best defensive linemen in NFL history. I'm going to pick his brain. And I remember asking him like hardest part about the NFL, and here I am, a 21-year-old kid, going to be going against grown men who have families, who are fighting for every single inch on this playing field, physical game. And he said the mental side is much more difficult than the physical, and I couldn't understand that at 21 years old or 22, whatever. because and my body wants to disagree with how much banged up we get inside the trenches. It's life and death. But I would agree with him. I mean, the mental side of going through that roller coaster of emotions and to stay together and to not go self-serving and I'm going to go get mine or I'm going to do this and I don't like this play called, this, that, and the third. Everything that you can think of that you mentioned, and triple that because you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And it's like, to be as even-keeled as we've been, it's been a reflection of our leadership and a reflection of our coaching staff. And I think that's why, we're really never out. We're really never out.
The Commissioner, Roger Goodell, is making noise about potentially outlawing the tush push. And from your standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, because you faced the Eagles, and they're the one team that seems to have perfected it and used it quite well, is it something that belongs in the NFL? Because you literally have 2 bodies, 3 bodies, 4 bodies pushing the quarterback, in this case, for a first down or into the end zone. Is that football?
Yeah, I know it's a really truculent topic, and I haven't had enough time to really sit and give my full thoughts about it. But for the most part, as a defensive player who thrives on aggression, I like the less rules we put in. You know what I'm saying? I like the physicality of the game. They found a way. I get where they're going with player health and safety because I stand on that really, really firmly. And there's been some plays. I don't know if you can remember the Brock Purdy play, I think, versus us. When we go low, they go low. He goes on top. There's only one striking point for a linebacker or safety to make that play. So I would have to look at it a little bit more. But in general, let us play. You know what I'm saying? I like that part of the game, and they try to take a lot of it away. But somebody will stop it. We'll figure it out. I believe in defense.
Harrison Phillips, one more question before we let you go and let you get on with the rest of your day, and congratulate you again. But I'm sure you've been asked this question and answered about 1,000 times. Probably some people who were pretty hot when they were asking the question. But how does the Nebraska Gatorade Football Player of the Year go to Stanford?
Yeah, funny question. If I can remember correctly, I was a diehard Nebraska. I was going there my whole life.
Yeah.
But they just kind of really slowly recruited me, and I think most of the best in-state players in Nebraska at the time, they just automatically go to Nebraska. They'll even turn down other scholarship offers to walk on at the University of Nebraska. And I think I maybe showed my hand too much of being such a big Nebraska fan that they were just like, oh, we know we got this kid. And, they didn't know my family's financial situation, which couldn't pay for college. So started going around, and I think, if I can remember correctly, I think Nebraska was my 23rd scholarship offer. And if they had been like top 5 or something, I probably would have never looked anywhere else. But then you go experience some life other places. And when my grandmother helped me get out to Stanford because, again, we couldn't afford to get out there, went to the camp, was blown away with the campus and the academic success they've had. The intellectual brutality is what we've kind of tailored up there. After that, I think in the final straw is when they did offer me a scholarship. They offered me at tight end. As much as I love Hawkinson, I don't got the hair for it. So, and I like hitting people.
That's great. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Minnesota Vikings Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award nominee, Harrison Phillips. Thank you for your time, man. Congratulations. You don't have to do the things you do. Thank you for doing it, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Intellectual Brutality is 5:30 to 9 Monday through Friday on the Fan as well.
That's right.
Geez, that's pretty awesome.
I think, are you going to go shopping now, or is that what you're doing? Are you doing a little Toys for
Yeah,
Tots?
I think I got Spins and Diego. We're going to go pick out some stuff here before we get the body right on a Tuesday. Got some recovery stuff going on. But
Understood.
Yeah.
Right on, dude. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Again,
thank
one more
you.
time, Harrison Phillips,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you very much.